how to drive after brain tumour and getting your licence back. See, that was the worst thing for me when I was diagnosed with a brain tumour, was you have to surrender your licence. Now, you don't have to surrender your licence, but if the DVLA come after you, you'll find out. I don't know if the medical profession tell them or not. I presume they don't, because it's just too much on the NHS to do. But if they do, you're going to struggle getting it back. So we always say to give up your licence. Now, it's not clear cut whether you give up your licence on diagnosis or surgery, because it depends if you have had seizures or not. Because if you have any seizure or fit, you cannot drive for 1 year since you've been clear of that, or any anti-seizure medication, epilepsy medication, and so on. So it depends if you've had seizures or not. I gave up my licence the day I went into that brain surgery because I'd never had a seizure. So it was highly, highly unlikely. And illegally, I could keep my licence until then. And then I gave it up. I was told a 3-year ban, but I was driving again within 6 months. I'm going to tell you how. And no, I did not cheat the system. I did this legally. However, most people wait for the DVLA to tell them they can drive again. And yeah, that's going to take about 3 years. The DVLA is slow as heck. It took me 6 months to get my licence back after I applied. So you've got to think, you wait till that 3 years that the doctors say, you then have to apply, they have to check all your medical records, speak to your consultant, speak to your GP. You then have to wait 6 months to get it back. And people wait until that driving licence is in their hands because they don't think they can drive legally. You can. I'm going to tell you how. Because no one else seems to know about this, so I've been telling. And you lose your independence, your freedom. I had to go home and live with my parents, age 30, in the middle of nowhere. To not have a car was just disgusting. So I'm going to tell you the law, and I'm going to tell you how you can get your licence back earlier if your consultant says you can and you are seizure-free. So the law is, let me double check my little notes, so make sure I'm right for all tumours. So for a benign tumour, now a benign tumour in terms of the DVLA is grade 1 or grade 2. I was a grade 2. We know it's not benign because it came back very, very, very aggressively. However, for the grade diagnosis, they normally say grade 1 or 2 is benign. Often a higher grade might be as well, and I don't really know much about benign tumours, so I won't talk about them. I've got some friends who do know a lot about them, so I can get you more information on that. But for the benign tumours, they're saying 6 months driving ban for grade 1 tumour with no fits or seizures. So it's just 6 months for a grade 1 benign tumour losing your licence is really, really good. A grade 2 benign tumour, they're saying 1 year, and then they're saying grade 3, 2 years on the benign tumours. However, if you have the gliomas and so on, it then changes, and then if you have the higher grades and so on, it then changes to more years. So if you have another tumour, not a benign one, it says 1 year ban for grade 2, and grades 3 to 4 is a 2 year ban. So me, I was an oligodendroglioma astrocytoma, grade 2, but very aggressive equally from the astrocytoma side. So I was actually given a 3 year ban, which actually doesn't coincide with those. However, this was 5 years ago, and these are the current stats according to Cancer Research UK. Obviously, if confused, check with the DVLA and your brain surgeon. So, how did I get my licence back within 6 months? I didn't have chemo or radiotherapy, I just had brain surgery. So because I didn't have radiotherapy on the brain, instantly I can drive. However, I had the brain surgery. However, I had no fits. So my consultant, after 6 months, said, I'm fine to drive. He said, I'm perfectly, perfectly happy for you to drive. So I said, great, I'm going to reapply for my licence. Because someone at the Big C Centre said to me, you do not wait to drive until that licence is in your hand. I was like, no, I'm not risking my licence, like losing it. Section 88. You can legally drive under Section 88. If you're pulled over and you don't have a licence in your hand, Section 88, it's legal. This means you've reapplied for your licence, you've not had fits, you've not had seizures. It means you've, go away notifications. It means you've followed your medical professional's advice and your GP. Now, I applied thinking they might give it back, they might not, but you know what? I can legally drive in the meantime because I've fulfilled their medical criteria. I've not had a fit, not had a seizure, my surgeon says it's okay. So I legally drove in that time. It took about 5 months for the DVLA to ring me to check if I was driving. I was like, yeah, I am. And they said, how's your memory loss? I was like, I don't remember. This is a joke. And they said, your GP says you've got memory loss on your file. I said, my GP don't know crap about my cancer. You do not go to my GP about my cancer. I said, I've never seen them about my brain tumour. Can you go to my consultant, please? And they said, nah, it's fine. Your consultant says you can drive. You can have your licence back. We're sending it. I was like, sweet. Back in my hand within 6 months. But I could drive in that time as well. Before it actually got into my hands, so it was a little bit longer. But I drove in that time. I had my independence. And if I was pulled over or stopped, I could legally drive. My insurance, everything was valid under Section 88. So that was amazing. So don't wait for that licence to get in your hand. Just apply for it. As long as you've not had fits or seizures, don't ever, if you think you're going to have a risk of fits or seizures, endanger any other road users, just don't. Or if you even think you're at risk. See, I'm so confident I've never had one, and they say the RSO means I would never have one. I'm so confident. I did give up rally racing because of the kind of times you're hitting with the laps. You've got Subarus doing 150 mile an hour behind you. That's not a time for me to not have any reactive speed. I did stop rally racing, but for the roads of Norfolk, we're fine. So hopefully that helps you. You do get your licence for 3 years, and then you're reassessed medically. So don't be alarmed if your licence isn't quite as long as you expected. I think my first licence was 6 months, and then they were going to reevaluate me, and they didn't. They just sent me a renewal because I had no more medical issues. So you might get a temporary medical licence, so just make sure you keep